Hi guys. Welcome back. I hope everyone's doing well today. It is Sunday. I can't remember the last time I did a stream on a Sunday. It's been a very long time. I guess this isn't... I guess I should say, like, other than a painting stream. Because I did used to, back in the day, do art streams on Sundays. Like, way back in the day, it used to be... I think it used to be Monday, Wednesday... Was it Monday, Wednesday? Friday, Sunday? I can't remember. There was a... I think maybe it was, like... Maybe it was Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. That might have been it too. I can't remember. But we used to stream on Sunday, but we haven't in like forever. Hey Emma, hi Doinley. Welcome in, guys. So it's been a while since I've been on I've been on stream on a Sunday. But welcome in, guys. Usually our painting streams are on Sunday, but I've been doing a lot of resting, a lot of recharging, a lot of just, like, almost like recentering of myself. So, I know a lot of the Twitch content has not been very much reading or very much energy work or very much guidance, and that's just because I'm in rest mode. I do think that a lot of that work, at least for now, is most likely going to stay off of Twitch and be like a Patreon thing. So, at least for now, while I'm still like recuperating and resting. But we should get a lot of work done. I know the last few readings I've done in private have really come through with a lot of stuff. Because I have had so much energy. So this should be a really good day today. I do want to do a mini meditation and intention. A tiny bit of clearing energy work just to clear out some old energy, some stagnant energy, some energy we just don't need to hang on to anymore right now. I also feel like there's a need for us to like recharge our batteries, so I'm gonna do a mini meditation for that. So I'm gonna just set the intention with our incense here that we're gonna just clear out anything else that's old. So we'll want to take just a couple breaths. Really let out that old stagnant energy. I feel like we just need a boost, really. Mostly. So we're just gonna breathe out a bit. Letting go of things we don't need. You can join in the practice if you want. And to just get a little bit of a charge up, just gonna do a little bit of a shake, a little bit of a wiggle. Not too much, doesn't have to be like crazy, but just a little bit of a bounce is gonna get some of the energy flowing. So we'll just do that for a minute. Get a little bit pumping. This is also gonna wiggle. Some of us are getting when we wiggle, some of our tension is loosening. Some of our bubbles are starting to come up and shift. That's all right. Go at your own pace. We're just shaking off all the extra we don't need. Really taking time to breathe with our exhales. I have found that after a nap or in the morning, sometimes I really do need to literally like shake the sleepiness off of me. So that is something I have been doing recently. I feel that's lifted quite a bit. Overall, feels pretty good now. And what we're gonna do is just bring in sunshine into our space, into our body, over the top of our heads, and down to the bottom of our feet. I do try to do this practice actually outside in the sun if I can help it, because the warmth of the feeling the sun does kind of help put me in the space of receiving sunlight. But you can do that practice just while you're inside if you can't be in the sun for whatever reason. But usually I just sit, focus on where the sun is, and pull those sunbeams to me. Down the top of my head, down the neck and shoulders, through the torso, stomach, pelvis, bottom and legs. Pulling it in and focusing where I might need a little extra. So scanning my body, okay, where do I need more energy? Where do I feel stagnation? Where do I feel drained? Where do I feel tired? Where do I feel tension? Focus in that and really layer some of that sun in there. Not too much though. We don't want to force anything. We just want everything to be gentle. And that's going to melt away anything else. And we can just do a couple clear breaths to integrate and release anything that had kind of been smoothed over during that process. And then a little extra wiggle to keep ourselves from going too deep. We don't want to go too deep into meditation today, because we simply don't need to. We're here to charge ourselves up, because we've been a little low, I feel. So I am going to go ahead and do a general message for all patrons. All patrons on Patreon. This one I feel is going to be quite a large one. After that, I will go ahead and open up space for everybody to ask specific questions or ask for readings that maybe they need some help on. But we are going to do this general message for everybody. So I am going to use our crystal oracle deck cards. I'm also going to use our soul truth cards, because those are just really good for like mass general energy reads. Honestly, like this is my go-to deck for both of these things. So I really feel like just straight away that not just for myself, but like really everybody has just been going through like a pretty just rough time. This could be like emotionally rough, mentally rough, physically rough. Just I almost feel like it's been like this deep, like almost like a purge or like a deep healing that kind of feels like going backwards, but it's really not going backwards. It's just sometimes you have to dig that far and go that low and go that deep to come back out. And I feel like a lot of us have just been confused, tired, worn out, just maybe not even feeling well either, like physically. But I feel like this was all necessary to make us ready for like the new energies that are coming in. So while it might have been difficult, it may have been traumatic, it may have been really confusing, it may have felt like what the F am I doing wrong? I do feel like it was necessary. I do feel like maybe even a lot of us went into some type of hermit mode because of this. I know that I had, in my own way, kind of gone into my own type of hermit mode. Because this is saying, do I surround myself with people who lift me up? And I feel like we really were thinking about how important it was to have the right people around us during that time. So it might have been a lot of retreating energy, or just pulling back energy, or just really being selective about who you're sharing stuff with, because it's almost like when you're doing that much healing and you're doing that much purging and you're doing that much, like, almost like a resolution is what I want to say. You do become kind of vulnerable, and so I do feel like a lot of people were just being very selective about who they were sharing what with, and why, and is this the right person to share something with, and this is somebody who's going to lift me up, or are these maybe people that just won't get it, or maybe drag me down? So I think relationships are going to be easier than maybe what they were. So if you've been struggling with like communication, or you've been struggling with just getting out of your own head and your own, it's been a lot of like self-work. So you might have been feeling a bit like selfish, even like you couldn't handle like maybe being in a relationship or having like a communication with somebody, just because you had so much of your own internal stuff going on that you really didn't, maybe you even really didn't know how to like share or communicate, or even be expressive like equally in like a fair space, if that makes sense. I think we were not sure how to be fair in sharing that experience, and so I feel like everybody kind of started to retreat, because we didn't want to be like overburdened, is really what wants to come through, or like we didn't want to be taking up space, because we know this isn't anything anybody else can necessarily fix. This is just something that we're fixing, whether you know this consciously. I think internally and maybe subconsciously, like, this is why we've done it, is because we know that these people, like people outside of us, can't help us do that or this work. It's just us. And I think it's okay to take a step back and do that work for ourselves, and I don't see that being a problem. But I also don't see that being a indicator that you can never be vulnerable with people, or you can never be, or you haven't learned how to be vulnerable with people. Like, don't take whatever your relationships have been recently, like, don't take that as an indication of, like, how healed you are in your relationship, is really what I want to say. Like, and this could be romantic relationship, this could be families, this could be friends. Like, I really want to say, like, whatever relationship struggles you've been having, or maybe lack of relationship you've been having recently, because maybe you've been in a hermit mode for healing, like, don't take that as an indication of, like, how healthy your relationship potential is. I feel like it's actually maybe a super healthy indicator that you decided to maybe take a hermit kind of energy and, like, kind of do something on your own, simply to kind of not overburden people, but also, like, not rely on other people to, like, maybe hold your hand through it. Even though holding your hand is, like, a good, healthy practice, I feel like this is a balance in knowing that you can do that without, like, needing it. Like, the desire is really the energy that can be a little bit codependent, that really deep need and desire for, comfort from other people, or having other people get you out of your hole. You know what I mean? Like, that desire for that can sometimes be what is toxic. And I feel like with this energy that's been happening recently, like, that was a way to heal that, so that that desire isn't really there anymore. So it's actually a process of being more healthy in your relationships. So that's mostly what I wanted to share first with that, because I do think that sometimes when we feel vulnerable and we feel like we do need somebody around us, and we don't necessarily let ourselves ask for it, or like make a statement about it, or like let others be with us in that vulnerable space, sometimes we can feel like we are not doing the relationship justice, or we're not being honest, or we're not being genuine, or not being authentic in the relationship because we've done that. But that's not, I'm actually getting the opposite, like, with that. So try not to think about that too much. This is for lessening desire, if that makes sense. So, do I surround myself with people who lift me up? And this card says, the people with whom we surround ourselves with determine who we become. The people who we surround ourselves with are the determining factors of who we will become. So, does your tribe fill you up? Do they inspire you? Do they believe in you? Do they help you step into your greatest potential? And if they don't, then you got some homework to do. Okay? If you don't, then you have homework. So this says make a desire list of the type of people with whom you wish to surround yourself with. And clarify to yourself if there is anyone in your life who no longer serves you. Can you perhaps love these people from a distance? So I also feel like sometimes when we get to those places of vulnerability, sometimes we do go into hermit mode because maybe in some way, we know we can handle it, and we know we need to learn how to do it on our own, especially for someone who tends to really rely on the emotional aid and comfort of other people in order to be okay. But I also feel like the opposite could be true, where sometimes maybe we don't share because we just know what we need isn't going to come from the people who are around us. And either way, that's okay. Like, I really feel like there's a real heavy emphasis in what I'm saying right now to kind of just be gentle with yourself and how your relationships are currently being reflected to you. So, our crystal card. It does feel like going backwards a little bit. So our crystal card is Amazonite. This card talks about truth, revelation, the evolution, and natural flow of events. So, truth, revelation, evolution, and the natural flow of events. So I feel like even though maybe things have felt like they were going backwards, sometimes we do have to go backwards and backtrack a little bit so we can get like realigned. So I definitely feel like maybe we were going in one direction and part of us was unfulfilled in that direction, even though it seemed to be very healthy for us and it seemed to be going well and we're really feeling really pretty good about it. I do think that the soul knows on a deeper level than maybe the ego, of what it really wants and what is really best for it. And sometimes I feel like with going backwards, like that's just meant to be realigning with where we're supposed to be going and what we really actually want. And I think that's just the natural flow of how things are moving. So, this card says, not everything reveals itself right away in full detail. Although, wouldn't that be nice? Yes. But the conscious universe is unfolding a plan for you, so much more brilliant than you can even imagine. This spirit is here to help you trust in the process and the flow of revelation. Some things will be disclosed that may shake you up, but if so, it's for your highest good. So pay close attention and go with it. The universe prefers you to learn your lessons without suffering. So if you allow situations to fluidly evolve, instead of trying to control them, you will see that much wisdom is being made available to you right now. Mind, body, and the conscious universe are interconnected. So be attentive to the connections you previously overlooked or thought weren't such a big deal. They have more insights for you than you might have expected. What is unfolding will help you understand your purpose and find your destiny. You don't have to be a victim of fate, in which your future is defined by repeating lessons again and again that you've already learned in the past. You are being prepared for something awesome that you are already moving towards. Excitement and trust are in order. So this is about trusting the process. I cannot tell you how many messages of trusting the process I have gotten, like on a daily basis, like probably for the last 2 months, to tell you the truth. So for this Amazonite card to come out again and kind of just mention that same thing is really quite powerful. I am going to read the relationship message for this too, because I do feel like a lot of where we're at now is starting to have an impact on our relationships, not just with ourselves, mostly with ourselves, but with other people, because it is being reflected out. And I feel like there is some concern of either being in damaging relationships that actually are not damaging. It's just you're healing your own damage. So if you're latched onto that through that process, you will create the damage in your life, which will reflect back to you. So I feel like I want to really read the relationship message, because I do feel like there's lots of concern in have I fudged up my relationships because of where I'm at currently. So I'll read the relationship message for this card too. So this says, love is sometimes so blind, and we see what we want to see. Thus, we might need a little nudge from the conscious universe in order to become aware of something bigger on the horizon for us. Maybe this relationship isn't meant to be, but rather is here to prepare you for the one you perhaps most deserve. Or maybe it needs to change into a new and better form, and you have to let it go so it can evolve naturally. Perhaps it's meant to be developing into something deeper and more meaningful. Maybe what you have been worried about is an obstacle to trust and intimacy placed there to help you and your partner grow and become even more connected in love. Fear not, for what is being revealed to you is for the highest good of everybody. The conscious universe wants you to be happy and has much to teach you about getting in your own way. Be open to the revelations as they come, the ones you are about to experience. So, I do feel like anybody who has relationship concerns, just wait for kind of dust to settle, wait for everything to kind of calm down a bit. I do feel like we are through and finished with the majority of like this crazy, like heavy, just whirlwind energy, honestly. I do generally feel like we are moving out of that. So kind of just be gentle, be patient, don't rush into things, don't emotionally latch onto your pain and project it onto the relationship. Just sit with it for a while, wait for you to feel a little bit more grounded, a little bit more centered in you, a little bit more clear on where you want to be, and then go look at the relationship. Because I do feel like there's a lot of what we've been working on that is kind of layered into our relationships. And so maybe we're feeling like our relationships aren't as great as we thought they were. And I really want to have people like just relax about that. I feel like that's really important. Did the relationship message hit hard, Tim and Lee? That's okay. I think I want to pull a couple more. And then I'll see who wants specific messages for today. But I know for me specifically, like, I know I've pulled away from a lot of people just to, like, make sure that my head was on straight, because I do tend to be, I'm a Scorpio, so I do tend to, like, if I don't like an energy or, like, a chapter I'm in my own book, like, I will rip it out. And I'm like, I will literally rip it out and then just start a new one. And I've been really guided to just be more patient and like just because things suck, like, doesn't mean everything sucks. So quit ripping out all the pages of the chapter just because, you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like that really wants to come through, not just for me, but like for everybody. So let's see what else is here for. Thank you. What one's this one? What one are you? Maturity. Yeah, I feel like it's more, I definitely feel like this has been a period of like growing up for everybody. Recognizing that it's almost like a child, right? It's almost like, I feel like maybe we've been working on a lot of like maybe inner child wounds, and maybe that's why it feels a little bit like going backwards, because I do feel like maybe some of us have felt like, well, this wound that has come up in my life recently is like giant, and like I feel like maybe it's ruining all of my life, and I thought that like I already healed this part of me, so like I'm a bit confused as to why this is coming back. I feel like this is kind of finalizing that healing, because I feel like even though maybe we did heal it in the past, we healed it from like a child perspective. So maybe we thought we healed it, but we didn't resolve the chapter in a healthy way. Maybe we had like a tantrum and then we healed it later, but we didn't heal it completely. At least in some energetic sense because we were missing that maturity. So I feel like we are coming back through some of these triggers and some of these just processes, honestly, is what I want to say, just to come at it from a place of like emotional maturity, you know. That's what I feel. So, and I feel like it's kind of it's almost like the final, I don't want to say final nail in the coffin, but it is almost like the final nail in the coffin. Like, okay, I learned this lesson. I'm going through the lesson again. I feel the lesson in my emotions, in my energy. I might actually consciously even understand the lesson right now, which shows a lot of self-awareness and maturity. So I do feel like, even though this has maybe been a really hard process for people, like, this is kind of like crossing the finish line. So, anything else we want to say? Yeah, it's about carrying full wisdom, is what I'm getting. This is about carrying all of the wisdom needed to have that maturity to finally cross the finish line. And all parts of you are crossing the finish line, not just like the inner child, you know what I mean? Like, and the adult is like dragging the inner child across, you know what I mean? And this is like every part of you is like walking in unison across the finish line, instead of like dragging pieces of you just along for the ride without them really having to maybe comprehend what's going on. Because I just see all parts of a person, like the inner child, the higher self, the adult, some past lives, just like all holding hands and like walking across and knowing what the goal is. And none of them are really no one's being left behind. No part of you is being left behind in this process. And I feel like in other healing processes in the past, parts of us were left behind. And I feel like this whole segment of like time has been, okay, go get those other parts and we're all gonna just come through, if that makes sense. I did get the Happy Occasions card that came out, so I do feel like even though it's been really hard, like, it's been for the best and good things are coming. There are reasons to be happy. There are reasons to be excited. I know maybe it's been hard to be excited because, especially with something that you feel like maybe you've already accomplished or you already learned or you already healed, like, especially if you've been going through like multiple purges, like a purge after a purge after a purge, or a lesson after a lesson after a lesson, it does kind of get hard to feel like, will I ever be done? But I do feel like this is the end, or coming to the end, where we actually start to have not just partial freedom, where, yeah, I think I learned this lesson, yeah, I think I have this healing, yeah, I think I did this forgiveness pretty well, but there's still that little bit that I know is still there. I don't think that's going to be a thing anymore. Like, all parts of you have crossed the finish line, is really what I'm picking up on. This is almost like, I don't know if anybody else remembers, but I've talked about this energy before, and I don't know if you guys remember, but it was back a few months ago, not a few months ago, maybe almost, God, this would have been maybe June of last year. Does anybody remember me talking about this? Similar energy? Hi, Forest Fairy. Welcome in, dear. Because I feel like that's what this is again, is back in that time, and I'm vaguely remembering speaking on this before, but I feel like those little parts that have been held back, those little pieces that we know were unresolved, they're not hanging out in the back anymore. Like, they're all crossing the finish line. So that's why I feel like it's been so hard. But it is okay to be excited. It is okay to just like breathe. It is okay to just like look forward to things. Like, I'm kind of being told, like, do something exciting. Make your own happy occasion to kind of move you into a different energy. Because I feel like sometimes when we get into a healing space, we have a hard time like initiating the energetic shift. Like, sometimes we have a hard time, like, we get in one energy for so long because we're doing such a deep like cleansing basically, that sometimes it's hard for us to like flip that switch and like, okay, now I'm gonna be in this new energy. So I feel like that's why I gave the little practice of like wiggling and like shaking, and like even that can just be a little bit after like a purge or a healing, or even just a really deep meditation where you just don't want to stay like that zoned out or that zoned in that much. That can be an easy way to just like reset your energy. But I do think that it's okay for you to set your sights on doing something fun. Make some happy occasions, some plans for you to enjoy. It's for you to just enjoy yourself. Let's see what else is in here. Yeah, we have understanding, 9 of Pentacles, and dreamer. And then 8 of Wands. So I do feel like getting ourselves into, so some of us might be trying to manifest something into our life. I feel like there's quite a few of us that are trying to manifest something into our life, and it just has not been working. And like, even though we've been putting a lot of time and effort into it, and like we've been spending all this time like healing ourselves and like working on our self-worth, and like really been doing a lot of work, I feel like, for people, right, because this is a reading specifically for Patreon. I do feel like there's, you guys are the ones doing the work. You guys are the ones really putting in the time and the effort to better yourself, just so that you can have a better life and be a healthier person and a better version of you. And I am kind of getting from these cards, like, you have done the work. This has been a very difficult part of doing the work. But I do feel like there's this new understanding of yourself through this process, and an understanding of, I also feel like maybe some of our traumas and some of our pains have like blocked our vision to what our dreams actually are, because part of ourselves was unhealed, and so it was projecting an image of being unhealed onto our dream, if that makes sense. And our soul knows that that's not really what we want, right? Our soul knows that image is coming from a place of lack, or a place of fear, or a place of just not being enough on some level. And so it will hold off manifesting sometimes, especially when you're doing the work, just to make sure that that gets taken care of and gets healed, so that you can get more clarity on your dreams. So I feel like we are going to be receiving even clarity on what our dreams actually look like for us in a healed, healthy way, instead of the wounded way, if that makes sense. I do feel like this is also going to bring us in a lot of gratitude And I feel like there's a lot of communication coming in. I want to know what this communication card is talking about, though. Yeah. I feel like, because the communication card is talking about strength, so I feel like this is going to be, I feel like those of us who are aligning with our dream are really going to be talking about what it takes to be a strong enough person to obtain the dream. Like, look how much work you have to do to obtain your dream. I feel like I feel like communication is going to be stronger, but like communication is going to be stronger basically built upon discussing and expressing internal strength, if that makes sense. Like, you can't, it's almost like a discussion is coming where everyone just talks about their own empowerment and how to be more empowered and how to be your own pillar. Not just be your own pillar, but like be your own motivation, be your own driving force, be your own emotional support, be your own, you know what I mean? And not because relationships with other people are not important, right? That's not what this is. This is about having healthy relationships without that dependency, without that desire, right? And I feel like this is going to be the discussion and the topic that aids more people. Ooh, yep, thank you. So 10 of Pentacles also comes out. And with this one, I'm going to get another... What does this 10 of Pentacles want to say for everybody? Yeah, this is mostly about creating your own strength. Thank you. And we have 10 of Wands. So I do feel like this has a lot to do with the platforms, honestly. Like, I feel most of us are connected on Twitch. I feel like most of us are connected through the same core community. And I do feel like this is mainly the focus of communication, I feel. Because we have the 10 of Pentacles, which for me in this deck, the 10 of Pentacles talks about like domain and dominion and like where, like a ruling realm, basically, like being the ruler of the realm. And I do feel like it almost feels like trial by fire a little bit. It just not only for the sake of the betterment of all, you know, or potential futures, but the betterment of ourselves, the betterment of the community, the betterment of just being and elevating the whole community, just by going through the fire and coming out stronger because of it. 10 of Wands, this is also a community card for me, but for this one for me is more about like foundations. So I do feel like this is giving more people a stronger foundation within this space to really speak, and not to say that like there's soft truth and then there's just truth. And I feel like this is an elevation of not just soft truth, like, because sometimes when I say soft truth, I mean it's true, but it's true through the mind, but not true through experience. And I feel like a lot of us needed to experience this so that we held truth, not just soft truth, if that makes sense. So I do feel like this is for the betterment of everybody. I'm gonna pull some. I want to pull some homework cards for us. I'm gonna go into the light worker deck to see what we can do to help us, but I do think we're moving in a good direction. Having that truth through experience, through lived experience, through trials and turbulation and healing. Like, sometimes you can just know of healing in your mind, and you know in your mind what would be beneficial and what you maybe should do, but sometimes you don't really get it because you haven't experienced it. And I feel like there's a deeper knowledge of wealth and a deeper expression of truth just because of this energy. So this is good. So we'll get some cards for some homework guidance, and then we'll see who needs something specific. This is the Lightworker Oracle. I just probably gonna draw 3 cards. Thank you. So we have Wisdom of the Divine Feminine. We'll see if I can get the table here. That might be a little bit easier. Ah! You guys haven't been able to see the cards at all. Sorry. There we go. I like this one. We'll stay here. I feel like this is gonna be. I feel like this card is coming out because there's been a soft, nurturing energy that is within us. That is very just. There's a soft way to nurture someone, and there's like the nurturing that somebody like needs. There's like, it's almost like soft, gentle, just acceptance kind of love. And then there's the love that I guess would be maybe a little bit more masculine, and maybe some tough love. I do feel like with this card in particular, it's almost like giving our own feminine energies new tools. Well, I said I was going to draw 3, and there's actually 3 right here. Yeah. I feel like, I don't know why, but, and this, I guess for anybody that might be a twin flame, like, this message is probably going to resonate differently for you, but I do feel like with these cards here, this is legitimately like balancing out masculine and feminine energies. So we have initiation by water, which is number 23, and we have initiation by fire, which is number 22. And it's literally opposing, like, polar opposites, like masculine, feminine, feminine, masculine. So I do feel like this was a necessary process to balance not only the masculine and feminine energy within us, but also within the collective, and also within like twin flame energies as well. I just feel like this was necessary to be able to experience the energies in a new way, so that we're able to kind of reflect that energy out to others as well. And I feel like that's for the balance and whole of everybody. So what can we do with this? What can we do with this? Find temperance. So continue to find your own balance. I definitely feel like most of the hard work we have pushed through. But right now I feel what's really important is just finding that balance. So find a way to be gentle with yourself, and if you're unbalanced, create that balance for you. So if you are maybe overly exhausted, and then you need to make time for rest. If you're overly exhausted and you've been resting, then and you wake up and you're still exhausted, then it's time for you to maybe switch that energy, maybe go for a walk, maybe go for a run, maybe do some type of physical movement to get that energy shifting in a new way. This is really about just balancing yourself as most as possible and being gentle. Any final messages we have for unplug from mass consciousness? Okay. So there are some of us that need to do this, unplug from mass consciousness. There are many people who just won't understand what is necessarily happening energetically, emotionally, like not just with you, but with themselves. And with maybe even large groups or the world as a whole, there's a need to unsubscribe, is really what I'm getting, from things that are not even. So I feel like anybody that has like maybe an ultimatum kind of energy to them is really something that's not balanced. So even if it appears something to be like overly positive, like I would maybe even say that there's some type of imbalance in that. So just unplug from that, because there's no need for any ultimatums right now. Whether it's on the fence of being overly good or overly negative, I do think there's also a need to be balanced in maybe our media, in what we're consuming. Because that can also have unconscious implants put into us about ourselves and our own energy. So if maybe we're watching a YouTube video where this person always talks about positivity and how to be positive, and you don't allow negative emotions, and like that can be, even though that's beautiful, it can be detrimental on you and your mentality and your energy, because you're not balanced in allowing maybe negative emotions to be expressed or negative emotions to be valid, or you're not making space for that. So I feel like there's a need to unplug from a lot of media and find something that has a balanced approach. Because clearly with everything we've dealt with, the negative has brought forth really good things, and we did have to process it in order to see that. So the last message here for the group is going to talk about creativity. So this one, I also feel that there's astrology in here. There's a message of astrology coming in here really strong too. I don't know if people are looking into their natal charts or astrological events in their charts, but that could help get some clarity for people. I also feel like this is talking a lot about creativity and a lot about using creativity to let things just flow out of you and through you and into the world and out of the world, and just be processed in a healthy way. And I feel like through the flow of allowing the balance, right? Not one-sided media, not one-sided mindsets, not one end of the fence extreme and one end of the fence extreme, but somewhere in the middle, right? That you really get your abundance, because then no matter what flows into your life, you just kind of take it and use that energy with what you can use it for. So I would say anything that you feel you need help processing, if you are dealing with like maybe some negative emotions and you've been like really downloading a lot of positive affirmations and things like that, but you haven't really been letting yourself just feel kind of shitty, like you're kind of doing yourself a disservice. So allow yourself to feel shitty, grab your creative avenues and just channel that stuff out. Write it out, paint it out, smash it out, rip it out, punch it out. Doesn't matter. But it needs to come out. So that's the message for everybody. If anybody in specific who's watching today wants a little bit of guidance on something, please feel free to ask. That's what I'm going to open things up to now. But I think this is all very necessary for us to just all kind of find our place. But I hope that message resonated. I feel like that was a big one. I feel like that was a big one. Yeah. I know that that's something that I've needed to work with and work on for a minute. It's just allowing everything to just kind of be and not like rush myself into another place. You know what I mean? Because sometimes with